Hello, so now I would like to introduce today's keynotes, Benoit Montreuil. So he has a very impressive resume, so I suggest taking notes because there will be a quiz at the end. So Benoit is Vice President and General Manager of Security Sales at Intel. Benoit is Professor and Coca-Cola Material Handling and Distribution Chair at the Stewart School of Industrial Engineering at Georgia Tech. He is also Executive Director of the Supply Chain and Logistic Institute, Director of the Physical Internet Center and Lab, and co-director of the Sentient Immersive Response Network Lab, a joint initiative at Georgia Leg and IMT Mindalbi. He leads the International Physical Internet Initiative, engaging academic, industry, and government leaders worldwide into research and innovation project and smart, hyperconnected, resilient, and sustainable supply chain logistic and transportation ecosystem and infrastructures. In collaboration with students and colleagues, Dr. Montreuil has introduced an imposing set of paradigm-challenging leading-edge research contribution shared through 300-plus scientific publication and 260-plus scientific communication and numerous keynote speeches at international scientific and professional conferences. His main research interests generally lie in developing concepts, methodologies, and technologies for creating, optimizing, transforming, and enabling businesses, supply chain, industry, as well as societal system and infrastructure to thrive in a disruptive, fast-evolving, hyper-connected world. He stands at the crossroad of industrial and systems engineering, supply chain engineering and management, logistics, operation research, computer and data science, strategic management, and sustainability science. His research builds mostly on a synthesis of system science and design theory, optimization modeling, mathematical programming, simulation, and digital twin modeling, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. He has extensive advisory, entrepreneurial, and collaborative research experience with industries, organizations, and government. In recent years, he has notably led collaborative research projects with Albi, Americold, BRP, Cisco Systems, Daimler, MyTech, Red Cross, SFX Express, South Shore, the Home Depot, and UPS. He serves on the advisory boards of several companies. As a spin-off from one of his research threads, he is founding member and chief scientist of Pool Logic, Inc. Before joining Georgia Tech in 2015, he was professor of operation research and decision system from 1988 and 2014 in the Faculty of Administration Science at Université Laval in Quebec City, Canada, after serving on the Industrial Engineering Faculty of UQTR at Trois-Rivières and Purdue University. He has held the Canada Research Chair in Business Engineering from 2000 to 2014 and the Bell Cisco NSERC Business Design Chair, Research Chair from 2003 to 2009. He was a founding member of the SIReN Inter-University Research Center on Enterprise Network, Logistics, and Transportation. He has been president of the College Industry Council of Material Handling Education and its liaison on the board of governor of MHI, the North American Industry Association of Material Handling, Logistics, and Supply Chain Solution and Technology Providers. He has an industrial engineering education from the Université du Québec at Trois-Rivières from 1978 and an MSIE and PhD from the Georgia Institute of Technology in 1980 and 1982. He is an IISE Fellow and co-leads IISE Fellows International Ambassador Committee. He was also my PhD advisor, so he's been around for a while. Benoit, where are you?
Hello everybody, bonjour tout le monde. Je vais dire quelques petits mots en français. I'll say a few words in French and then switch to English. C'est un plaisir pour moi de revenir à Montréal et au Québec pour présenter. Donc, tous ceux que je connais, n'hésitez pas à me voir après, ça me faire plaisir. So it's been a pleasure for me to come here. That basically Quebec is where I was born, and all my early 8 years, as was exposed to you lengthy a few seconds ago, were here. So for me, that's good. That's a very nice gesture. Also, I've been with IISE and IIE before. My first time was 1980, so it tells you about my age. And since then, I've been coming here almost, not here, but IISE conference almost every year. So that's fun that at the age I'm now, that I end up in front of you. So I'll try to make sure that you've got a good time. I've purposely selected not to show you a single equation. Okay, so we do plenty, okay, we can show plenty of OR, AI, that kind of stuff, but I want to talk more about concepts, what we're doing, the fun we're having doing it, and also the impact it can have. And I've tried to structure the presentation so that there's a lot of examples, so I'm showing this more through examples. And if you want to get the technical stuff behind it, just feel free and let me know afterward. So I'm going to talk about the physical internet. I want to tell you something, okay? Before 2006, I never, ever presented the same presentation twice. Okay? For me, once I had presented it or submitted the paper, it was done, okay? I'm not gonna touch it again. Darn, there was a song that was called The Physical Internet that has cut, and since then, many of my presentations are around the physical internet. So hopefully you'll see that we're not wasting our time, and that's going to be a fun experience to you. And if I can make you enthusiastic about transforming supply chain logistics systems and try to get to a better world, then I'll have achieved part of my mission today. By the way, the introduction was way too long for me, okay? 2 lines would have been done, so now I've got pressure just finding all these nice words. So, okay. First, for me, it was important to show you, okay, the people I work with. Those are my PhD students on that side and the faculty that are working with us. So what I'm going to show is I'm the front, but in the back, at the heart of it, are those people here, okay? And I've just named their first name because that's how we talk, okay? So many of them are good friends, and they're very, very smart people. So everywhere through this, okay, that's them. They're talking through me, okay? So first thing is I like challenges. Yeah, to me, that drives me, and the bigger the challenge, the bigger I'm driven. So essentially, the PI, the physical internet, PI, if you want, has grown out of all this. So through the years, there are many things that happened, and I'm just reformulating a bit what the grand challenge that I was after. I used to express it in terms of logistics and supply chain, but it has become too narrow, and with time we had to enlarge the concept because we were touching and everything was related. So now we say that we're about improving by an order of magnitude. Order of magnitude is 2 times, 3 times, not 3%. 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, that's improving, okay? The worldwide performance of fulfilling humanity's demand for physical objects. Humanity's demand, okay? So basically this includes your food, your computers, your cars, your home, everything, okay? Everything that you can touch is made of atoms, okay? So that's basically what we have. At a time where there's scarcity around the world, so this becomes more and more important. And we need to make sure that we improve the way we're doing it. Now, to make it simple, because I try to do big stuff, but at the same time, I like it simple. So I just work with 6 verbs, 6. Okay? So what do we do with physical objects? So we move them. So we're going to transport them, handle them, etc. We move them. They need to go from one place to another. We deploy them. Deploy means that I want to locate them somewhere, store them there, so that when the need will occur for that object, I'm going to be able to do fast response. It's not going to cost me huge dollars to get it where it's needed. So the smarter I am at that, that's fine. So deploying the products, that's good. By the way, you can think big, but you can look at your apartment. Okay, where's the pack of beer? Okay, so that's simple. Or where's the salt? Where, etc. We do this all the time. Okay, then we have realize. I used to use the word make. But today we do so many things that add value to products that you realize is kind of wider, it's less used, so it allows me to do make, assemble, pack, but also personalization, recycling, and so on and so forth. Every time we touch the intrinsic value of a product, I call it realize. Then we supply them. Supply here is meant as to, we're doing the transactions, the planning, so that the goods, I will acquire the materials, the parts, the car that I want, etc. So broad perspective. We also need to design them. Okay? So conceive, engineer, develop them. And very important, because we wanted them, so we want to use them. And the way we use it has a lot of impact. Okay? So how do we access it, exploit it, function with it, etc. Now, when I say augmenting the performance of fulfilling humanity's demand for such objects, I've listed in red, you've been looking at it for a while now, bunch of kind of high-level goals, criteria, okay, that we're looking for. Is it convenient, effective, efficient? Do we do it in a fair ways? Are we inclusive the way we do it? Do we have integrity at part of this? Is this persistent? Is this reliable? Are we resilient? If there are disruptions happening, can we come back up rapidly? What's our responsiveness most of the time? What's safety? Is it seamless so that I don't have to do all kind of crazy stuff? It's just easy to making. Is it secure? Is it sustainable? Sustainable in the wide sense, okay, economic, environmental, and societal. And is it traceable? And is it trustable? I named them, okay, because many people, they like to have one objective function, okay, very simple one. Well, the world is not that simple, okay? It's not that I need to choose between these criteria. I need to be good at most of them. May not be perfect, but if I fail at one or two of them, those are going to hit me and hit us, and that's where we're going to have trouble. So we have to perform concurrently over all those criteria. Now, in terms of domains, it covers supply chain, logistics, transportation, manufacturing, retailing, e-commerce, service, engineering, etc. So that should become clearer and clearer as I proceed. I'm not going to be able to cover everything here, okay, during my presentation, but I'll cover a subset enough for you to begin to know more and maybe you want to read more about it. Now, what I've talked is at a very, very high level, okay? I like to ground things, okay? So we talk about moving goods. Well, you know that you take a truck randomly on the road, average filled between 40–60%. That's when I'm kind, okay? Because I'm not going to look what is in the pallet, what is in the box, what is, etc. Because if I just took the stuff that is creating value, I'd be much lower than 40–60%, okay? In the average. Now, what do you think is the number for e-commerce? I know the precise numbers because I play with the people who do this, okay? They would not want me to tell it. But let's say that it's at least half of the numbers I've told you until now. Okay? So this is something that every single one of us on the planet overall, okay, we're paying for this. Okay? Even though you think it's free, it's not free. Okay? It's very costly. Empty travel, excess travel, we do a lot. We try to break bulk and cross-dock times and costs are so high that people think that, hey, let's minimize the number of touches. This means that they believe that every time they touch, it's going to be costly, it's going to take time, it's going to break stuff, it's going to risk of losing, stolen, etc. So don't touch it, okay? Go straight and open the door there, that's it. That's not really the best of the worlds. And as I was talking, okay, you see there are plenty, and some we want to raise and some we want to lower. I've done that with longer time, with hundreds and hundreds of people from industry. And I always ask them at the end, am I in the field? Is this something that I'm just dreaming about it, okay, that is there, just theory? Most people, okay, that are in the industry know that they're facing this stuff almost every day, weekly, etc. Many of them. So that's part of the game. So we're not facing something that is ouch in its ear, okay? Well, it's ouch, but it's linked with this and there, etc. We've got generalized symptoms here. Okay? So we cannot say we're just going to patch here and it's going to do the job. We need to make sure, okay, that what we do will have impact and we'll understand the complexity of what we're facing. Now, there's a bunch of things happening in the world. And if we're not careful, we think the world is smooth, is easy, etc. But everything I've got in that page is affecting every single project, experiments, exploration, analysis, study that we're doing, okay, projects. Let's look at them. We won't spend I could spend the full hour just on that slide, okay? But you've got the technological drive, okay? So I've put that AI, connectivity, autonomy, Internet of Things, Industry X.0, etc., and all, etc., immersive, okay? And all the way to nano, bio, quantum, and everything. Technology is inundating us every single day of the year. You've got something new, and it's huge, and the more you dig into it, the more you discover. You've got economic and geopolitical drive. I've bundled them together here. So drive for profitability, competitivity is really huge. We've got the economic cycles playing, the falls, the true, the short, the long, etc. We have the nations, the companies, the people think about their wealth. And they take their decision, may not be what we think is very rational, but they're thinking about their pockets, okay? And where their pockets are affected, it hurts, okay? And I know many people, like in Canada, that essentially their quality of life, their wealth, okay, has diminished by 30%. Because there's a lot of costs that have increased and the pay has not increased, okay? So they're suffering a lot, okay? Many people I would not believe, they say that they go to the store, okay, and they just get the food that is on special and rebate. Otherwise, they don't do it. I've never seen that at that scale in Canada. So this is big stuff, okay? This is happening now, okay? And then I can keep on, okay, with the wars, the conflicts, etc. And at the other extreme, what is the next frontier? Well, the next frontier, I use 3 terms here, okay? Space, okay? You see a lot of activity there. Oceans, okay? And the metaverse. Those are big frontiers right now, okay? So a lot of money will go there. So if you're in there, you probably get investment. If you're not in somewhere like that, it's a bit more difficult. Let's add AI to it, okay? So societal values is the kind of response to all of that, okay? So a lot of movement on equitability, fairness, inclusiveness, okay? There's a lot of tension around safety, security. People, the new generations have different aspirations versus work, service, shopping, lifestyle. And COVID has completely created a new generation. We see it in universities where the students in the new generation has started their studies, their research, okay, while in the middle of COVID. So they're not social, okay? They don't like the physical social. That's not what they thrive. While they're 3-5 years ago, that was a lot of that. Okay, so everything's happening. Okay, and I'm making a very simplified thing. Sharing economy as part of all this, quality of life, quest for happiness. And then you've got all the environmental sustainability drive with the net zero, sub-zero, the green gases emission, the material scarcity, like the rare materials, and so on. And you've got circular economy, save the planet, save the species, etc. So this is happening all the time. Okay? And so whatever we do, how do we fit with all that? I don't have all the answers, but what I know is we must be careful, okay, to think, okay, what we're going to do, knowing those drivers. Yeah. Now, at the beginning, I told you basically that I'm seeking order of magnitude improvement. This looked like a professor that's been too long in school and stuck in his ivory tower and thinks that this is going to work. You can do this, okay? Well, we've proven we can do that. Yeah. There's a little box that's called a container. Yeah. You have basic numbers, okay? In 1960, if I wanted to ship a container from Chicago, get it to Nancy in France, okay? By the way, Eric Ballot, okay, has been doing the groundwork with me, okay, to get those numbers a number of years back. But basically, it was costing the order of $2,000. If we take those $2,000 from 1960, get them in $2010, it should have cost us at that time about $16,000 or $14,000 to get the same container there, the same equivalent material. Well, in practice, it was costing less than $4,000. What happened? Well, the container happened, okay? And the ports got designed to deal with containers. The train, the ships, everything, okay, has been the chassis for the truck, okay. All the systems have been built, so we have had huge, okay, gains, okay. Handling costs divided by 14, maritime trip costs by 4.5, trucking costs by 1.5, and the overall we're about 3.6 times. Okay, cheaper than we would be supposed to have. So this is kind of telling you that we don't have to chase only the 1-2%. It's good to do this, continuous improvement, etc. But there's potential way beyond that. Yeah? Now, along those lines, that's how I ended up, okay, starting in 2006, working on the physical internet. Okay? The name, The Economist, okay, it was a magazine. I wanted something to read in the airplane coming back from Europe, and physical internet, a survey of logistics. Say, wow, this looks good, okay? The only place in the magazine where it was written the physical internet was the title, so I give a A+ to the title list, okay? And from there, my mind could not stop, okay, because this is not a physical internet, okay? I have the notion of what's the internet, and if I change digital to physical, there are things in my mind that say what I should be expecting, and it's not there. So now for a couple of years, okay, this has been my main drive, trying to understand what it could be. At one point, I needed to say, okay, I think I got it what it could be. Now the next thing was, why would I spend one more minute on it? Then that's where I started understanding what in the world would be necessary, okay, to justify such a physical internet that requires transformation. Okay? And that's how I got all those things that I've been talking before. Okay? Since then, okay, 2006, it's been quite a ride, okay, when science, okay, we had the physical internet manifesto. It was just like a slide kit that it was at the end, it was like 80 slides, but it was like in the 0.1% downloaded in the world, okay, at that time. So there's been a lot of things, and I'm going to show you where it's going, what it has happened since then. Now, so we're engineering, so I need at least to have a formal definition of physical internet. So it's basically, it's a logistics system. It's a global logistics system that we say hyperconnected. I'm going to come back on hyperconnected in a few minutes. Okay? That enables seamless open asset sharing, asset resources, trucks, okay, warehouse, etc. And essentially, it's access to those assets. And also the same for open flow consolidation. When we say open, this means here that it's meant to be multi-party. It's not just for my company, my little group of companies. It's make it open so that it can be people would pay and get access to it very rapidly. Just to give you an idea, we have in the US 500,000 plus warehouses, distribution center, and so on. Most of them are used by a single company. And each company essentially operates, if you're a big one, you'll have 150, something like that. There's 500,000. Yeah? So imagine if every SME, okay, could have access to be able to deploy their stuff to 100 different locations across the US and Canada and Mexico, etc. So as you spread, so this is big stuff, okay? And the facilities are there. They're just bounded, okay? I'm going to come back on all of that. So how do we do it? Is through standardized encapsulation. So I'll show you what we mean later on this. Very modular. Go with protocols, the same way that the internet is built on protocols, and interfaces, making sure that this can work very nicely. When I say hyperconnected, doesn't mean to connect everything with everything, so it's completely connected. It's smartly connected with hyperlinks, etc. So I'm going to show you these notions of interconnected on multiple layers, ultimately anytime, anywhere. And the layers we're talking about are digital, physical, operational, business, legal, personal. So those are kinds of different levels, layers of interconnectivity. Now, I need to show you a bit more grounded, okay? So here's very simplified two cities, okay? One is a port city, the other one is somewhere in the outside. And what we did here is I used like the circular type of cities that we see in Europe more, so it's easy to draw. But the idea is that each one of them is kind of an intranet. So you go in there if you really need to go there. Otherwise, you circumvent, okay? Each of the cities, you see, basically they're identical mostly here. They would not be identical, but they have the same kind of logic. Okay? So there's a ring, okay? So there's an inner ring, a smaller ring in there. So it's meant to be like at the end you're a center of town. Okay, it's very dense, etc. So you'd probably go with a tricycle or scooter or something like that. Very active type of things, very small stuff. You don't keep a lot of stock there, etc. And you want to be fast. And then you get growly in toward the suburbs and so on. And we put hubs, logistics hubs, at key locations, bigger ones on the outside, and then you get to more local hubs and access hubs as you move inside a suburb, inside toward the middle, etc. So we make the flow very easy, and it's meant not just for my company, it's meant for everybody that wants to be there. Okay? So, and we make sure that they're very efficient. And then we put deployment centers, distribution centers, fulfillment centers near those hubs, okay? Because I'm just going to be called, I want it, get into the hub, then circulate to wherever is needed. And very important is that it's not connecting just within the city, it's between the cities. Okay? So you see that we've done the same thing between the cities. It's not at scale here. And it shows also that we can connect also through the sea. And I've got airports. We use multimodal as necessary. Okay? Now, the rest, I'm going to show you this in more realistic setting, more precise context, show you that it can really pay off to work, to make it happen. Now, that one I just want to show you, okay, but I'm not going to go through in detail, okay? So, what's the digital internet, okay? If you go and try to define what's the digital internet, you can have some technical definition, but really understanding what it really means is complex, okay? So a physical internet did not exist, okay? So I needed to have something where I could pass the message of what it was, okay, what it could be. So I ended up doing, it was the time of the videos, and videos, they have the song, they have dancing, all kinds, so it's very cut, okay, in there. So I said, let me do something like a video. So I wrote the paper, I did the manifesto like a little video. So, chuck, 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 chuck. So in fact, what is the mosaic of concepts that I needed to pass? And you can check them as we're there. So the logic was, okay, if they can get this concept, that's nice. So this I should be able to do. And then this one also. So I ended up trying to expose, okay, what would be each of the key concepts around the physical internet.
And then the logic by presenting in some order, the idea is that in your mind, you're going to connect the dots. Okay? And there's an image that will begin to show and say, oh my God, I begin to figure it out. Okay? So that I don't have the time to go through all of this, but that was the principle. I'm going to show you bits of this exposure. 20 pages if you want to read it, okay? No more than that. Okay? Now, since then, okay, that was done in 2008, 9, in that time. So since then, we've been working with many companies, many countries, many domains, etc. So now we know what kind of building blocks we need to make it happen. So we're basically like in the internet, digital internet, all the information moves in data packets. First thing they do is chop your email in little pieces, and those are very well coded, structured, and that's what navigates the digital internet. Okay? So I said, let's do the same. Because we already had a success. Okay? The container, 20 foot, 40 foot, is a huge success. But compared to a data packet in the digital internet, that's a darn big data packet, okay? So I said, what do we have lower than that? Well, we have pallets, but there's nothing standardized about the pallet. It does not really encapsulate, but it's there, okay? And then we've got like some parcel companies, okay? There's some, when I go to the case level, not much. So we said, let's try to define this. So we wanted to have a safe place for people, for products to be able to move around the world, physical objects. Then if we're going to go with modular containers, and I'm talking containers that are going to be like totes, okay, cases and so on, okay? So at all sizes. So I want to make sure that like we change the ports and everything, okay, we need to do this for containerized logistics, smaller stuff, okay? We need to put protocols, okay, like we have in the digital internet, but those would be logistics protocol. We need to make sure that we've got facilities. It's like you buy a router by Cisco or any other company. Well, if I'm going to go into a hub or a deployment center, if he claims he can do PI, okay, better be equipped and know what you're doing, okay? So let's certify them, design them very smartly for doing this. Let's monitor everything. Well, here, whoa, monitoring. I don't even need to know that this stuff, okay, was in a container. As long as it's not dangerous or something, okay, I don't need it. The only thing I need to track is the modular containers themselves. The authorities may have to do more, but for logistics, I don't need it, okay? So, and then we're gonna need platforms, okay, for helping take the decisions, make the transactions. And there's been huge growth in number of platforms in the previous like decade. Okay, it used to be that there would be 3, 4, 5, 10. Now there's like hundreds of them. Okay, there's many going bankrupt, others are making money, but there's huge growth over there. We have we're going to give much more options to the people, so we need to make sure that they can take decisions correctly. So we'll have intelligence to help them. So that's where the AI, the analytics, the optimization, simulations, etc. Okay, smart data fed and so on will be there to make sure we take good decisions. And above that, then we'll have a lot of everybody that will say that I will provide some logistics service through the PI, well, just make sure that they're well equipped, trained, and so on to be certified. I'm going to pass this one fast, okay, because I don't want to spend the full time on data and digital, etc. I just say, yes, okay, we're talking physical internet, but there's plenty of data. It's huge. It's at the core of it, okay? So we need to make sure that I'm not going to lose anything. So here's an example of what this could be architectured, okay? It's just just transposing the concept to you. The Consumer Forum group, okay, has a little method that they call simple links, okay? It's very, very simple, okay? It says, the shirt is in the box is in the case is in on the pallet is on the truck is in the yard, and you keep going. There's a song in French, okay, about this that says that, okay? So, but it's just like that. So basically, if the logic say, make a link, I'm in, I'm not in, etc. It's very, very simple. And then you can go on the web, if you got the code, you can track where all your shirts are. Okay? Very, very simple. Then the trouble is that I'm not sure if it's there. Okay? Well, that's where the Internet of Things come in. We're going to have all the sensors and all the information, the machine, the equipment everywhere. That's going to give us the pulse much more precise. And on the other side, we've got the distributed ledgers, okay, blockchain style of technology, to make sure that what I read is really this, so that we can get trust on it, and so we can do smart contracts, move much faster, because we've got facts. Then we've got platforms, marketplace, okay? It's the equivalent of those who are not really technical on this. It's like what you deal with Uber, for example, okay? So you've got a facade, okay, that's where you're doing, but it can be Convoy and many others. And then we've got the digital intelligence, putting all the notions that I mentioned earlier with AI, etc. Now, the other thing is very physical. We're going to have like facilities. I know that there are about 50 types of warehouses, okay, and there are many, many things like that. But if I want to get some standards and make sure that we dismantle some of the complexity, I just say, I'm going to play fundamentally with 4 types of facilities, okay? And the rest are just variants of it, okay? Well, there's where we do production, okay? So we do realization, so those would be my fabs, okay? Then where I'm stocking something, deploying it so that it's either for fulfillment, distribution, whatever, it's going to be a deployment center. Logistics hubs, those are items that are on their journey from a source to a destination. Okay? So those will be hubs. They'll be consolidated, okay, at place, cross-docked, and so on. And then we've got customer interfaces. It can be a smart locker, it can be a store, it can be a showcasing place, etc. So that's where the clients, okay, will interact with your product. So we just work with those 4. In any given site, I can have combinations of them, but when they are different roles, okay, we just define them as different centers. Get it? So that's the logic here. I'm going to show you some example of what we do on them. Also, fundamentally, it's multimodal, okay? I did this wheel, okay, with all the modes, okay? And then somebody told me, Benoit, it's not good enough, okay? I say, what's missing? What's missing? Okay? And basically, they told me that there's a lot of industry that's going to the space, okay? So near Earth, okay, is the next frontier, okay? And then going to the moon, going to Mars, etc. So they said, you need to add this in. I said, okay. So the next version will be going outside of our planet. And now what I'm going to do is focus on the move, okay? So transport. That's what people see the easiest with physical internet. So I'm going to start there, okay? The first example that I built to show people that we could do things differently, that are a bit like the digital internet, is I was living in Quebec City, about 2.5 hours from here. I say, where's the farthest I can go in the US, okay, except Alaska, okay, was basically going to South California. So I said, okay. So I need to have a semi-trailer, the nice white one that you see there, and I need it to be shipped to Los Angeles. How do I do it? Okay? And let's not go on train right now. It's a bit too complex. We'll come back with train. Okay, but right now, let's make it simple. Okay, right? The version that everybody knows is call a transporter, okay, transport service provider, and he's going to get a driver, she or he, okay, and that person will drive all the way to Los Angeles. See you, cowboy, in LA. Okay. And that's what's going to be done. Okay, it's going to take the person on the order of 120 hours. So about 5 days, because that person has to sleep, there are regulations, and they need to tank, eat, etc. So that's about 5 days. Now, and then when it's reached there, it has to come back somehow, because the person lives in Quebec, okay? So it needs to come back, but in reality, it can go to Atlanta, go to Chicago, go to New York, etc. At some point, the person is going to come back to Quebec. So the return can be much longer than 120 hours. Now, in the digital internet, that would not be the way it works, okay? So what you would do is go to a first router, be divided, go another router, etc., and finally you get at the end. Okay? Well, here's an example of the equivalent to this. I say, okay, we're going to call it hub. Okay, I call it a transit hub. It's very, very simple. Okay, from Quebec to Montreal, you drive there. You say, park in B32, okay, and hook the one at C45, get back to Quebec, okay? And you come in, and I say, okay, you pick the one at B32, and you bring it to Alexandria Bay. We get at the border, okay, Canada, US. So either you want to drive, okay, you like it to go in the US, so just go there, okay, that's fine. Or basically it can be automated, and we don't need people to traverse, okay. In COVID, that would have been really good to happen. So basically, and then afterward, you see it, okay, every hub, okay, I'm basically playing the same game. And purposely, I've put more than necessary. Okay? I've put them at the 2-3 hours type of range, okay, 3 hours, just to shock people, okay, because I can do it with less. But the logic is get there. But our semi-trailer gets to Los Angeles in about 60 hours. Because now what we've succeeded is decouple the constraints on the driver from the constraints we impose on the semi-trailer. So the semi-trailer keeps going while everybody sleeps back home every day. Okay? It's a big deal, okay? So if we succeeded to do this at large scale, we would need half the truck, half the driver, and half the trailer. We're not going to get that much, okay? But still, that's a nice level. Yeah, but that's such a simplistic type of case, okay? That's a corridor, very simple, one truck, and so on. Now, but the kind of facility we're talking about to do this is very simple. You've got an entry for trucks, you've got gates, okay, where you do security check, and then after that, say, okay, go to this bay there, and then unhook, and once you're unhooked, go the other side and hook yourself out, and then get out. Okay? And we have nice stuff to make sure that the people who stay there for a little while, they can treat their truck, they can go and have lunch or whatever, and we put trees to make sure the noise will be reduced so that we've got something that's really sustainable. Yeah? Now, let's see what happens when I'm trying to do this at larger scale. Now, I had success there, so I say, okay, let's take the full province of Quebec. It's 7 times the size of France, okay, there. Okay? So basically, roughly, there's about 10,000 trucks and trailers, okay, that are moving there normally at the time I did that. Okay? So what we did is have a model that would model for weeks and weeks, okay, very, very precisely, would model every trailer, every truck, every trucker, okay, as they would be moving through the system. And basically, after that, I said, let's change this, okay, and do it what I explained earlier, but now at large scale, okay? So we had to design a network of hubs, we had to decide on the protocols. We made very simple protocols, okay? Protocols were as easy as this, okay? First trucker that gets to the hub has first pick on the semi-trailer that he wants to move. Easy, okay? The first semi-trailer that gets into the hub, that wants to get in the destination, is going to be the first one out. Okay. Then, if, for example, a semi-trailer, nobody picks it up for a given time, then it's a hot dispatch. Okay? Now we're going to make sure that you get out of here. But we don't want that to happen often, but this could happen. Okay? And then at any time, a trucker can decide, I've waited enough, so I'm going somewhere else. Go back home or go to another hub, etc. Those were the only thing that we did. Plus another one. We had to rethink where the driver would be living, because in this system, they want to live nearby the hubs. Okay? And that's very different from current, but beside that. And then you've been looking at the table in terms of service, in terms of quality of life for the workers, in terms of greenhouse gas, in terms of cost. This is all win. Okay? And I've 3 columns where the 3 columns are I'm reducing more and more the number of trucks in the PI, and you see that even with thousands less of trucks and trailers, I'm still behaving as much as good as what they do otherwise. Okay. Now let's get a bit more complex, okay? Because a semi-trailer is trivial, okay, almost, okay, because most of the time I've got more than a single black box, okay. I've got containers, okay, that will be, that I'll need. But the logic is the same, okay. We're gonna get, like in the digital internet, we're gonna get into the network, then go between hubs, and we'll need protocols, methods to do it, and then you're gonna get your final hub in there. But there's gonna be a bit more complex. To show it to you, we start with something that's not too difficult neither, but very complex to solve, okay? It's easy to understand. And we see it on the road all the time. It's car delivery. Okay? So the size of that problem in the US is about 8 million vehicles yearly that we have to get from the ports or the factories to the dealership. To deal that to 16,000 dealers, okay, etc. And there's a bunch of constraints to account. Even you see the semi-trailer, they're specialized and so on. So we have to be careful. But we know every single one of the dealerships. We know their location. We know exactly what each company is producing, etc. So basically, we're trying to see, and we know the way they do it now is, can we do it differently there? So the same logic applies. So what we're doing now is crossing the US. We have a mesh network, high-level mesh network. And on the right side, I'm showing you what happens. We have a more precise example in the southeast, okay, of the US, so near Atlanta, so all around. So we show how this works. Since it's very limited, it's a closed ecosystem, we need protocols and algorithms that are more sophisticated. So that we contained. But then, without going at all the numbers, again, okay, even in this complex closed ecosystem, we can do much better than the current way of doing. When I get with the rail, because cars, you're not shipping just on trucks, okay? There's a part that is shipped on trains. Well, we know exactly where they are, the kind of schedule, we can think about them. So now we're showing numbers and show that essentially, yes, I can get better with train, but the railroads, okay, will need to be more open, okay, to change their schedules and do things that they're not happy to do all the time for this to be happening, okay? But the potential, nice potential. Now, for the containerized stuff, okay, so now we're talking modular container. What we wanted, essentially, is give all the units, like this one, okay, my code, everything, okay, we wanted to make sure that when they're traveling or be stored through the world, okay, that they will have a safe place, okay, and that those containers will be strong enough so that I don't have to put so many filler to protect, okay, against this being broken, etc. So we wanted them to be easy to handle, store, and transport. We wanted them to be smart and connected, okay, and eco-friendly. Now we know that doing all this is beyond what is achievable right now. So we say, let's go basics. If you can give me a few of those characteristics, it's already better. I'm going to show you a couple that are getting there right now. So, and we said we're going to work with 3 types of containers. The transport container, think, is essentially like the big 20-foot, 40-foot, but we get in meter, we said 12 meter, 6 meter, 4.8, 3.6, 2.4, 1.2. So I can have a container 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. Okay, or 2.4, 2.4, 2.4. Those are the ones, like the smaller ones that we see now for people who want to move. Okay, they put it on your ground, and you just fill it, and when necessary, you get out. This can be done at much, much higher scale there. So that's the transport containers, okay? Then basically, we got handling containers. This is meant to be like containers, smaller, but they have to fit within the transport containers, okay? And fit within the trucks, the trailers, and the rail cars, and so on. Sorry, and so but it's the same kind of logic. So we start, let's say, at 1.2, we go to 0.8, 0.6, 0.4, etc., going down. Very modular, okay, with epsilon less, so that there's space to move, and so on. So we do this, and then packaging container is replacing the box, okay, that basically you buy and you throw in the garbage can immediately, because the world has changed. When do you see the box of the thing that you've purchased? The first time you see that box is when it arrives, okay, once you've opened all this cardboard, and the first thing you do with it is remove the product from it and then get it to recycling, Okay? And if you're like me, you've got an X-Acto and you're chopping it, okay? So it was meant at the time where you bought stuff according to what you saw. The box was the key, okay? Now for many, many products, it's redundant. So we want to make sure it's there. So we want dimensions to be clean, the walls to be correct, but also connectors that are very well located so we can click them together. And also we can have robots doing this very, very easily. And if a robot can do it very easily, humans can also do it very easily. So the kind of logic that we're after. So I'm showing two examples, okay, that are kind of new. So Ehler took the normal container, but they said we're going to do it in composite, and we're going to make it smart. So now we have a smart, much lighter container that has property with the composite the other ones cannot have. And they can start, they sell it, okay, with their system as with all the intelligence of knowing where it is, how it can share it, etc. around the world. And then you've got another small company called Ponera Group, okay? They started doing pallets for big, big machines and things like that, like Lego blocks, okay? Now, once they got the Lego blocks, I told them, listen, why don't you do walls? Why don't you do a top on it? So if they can do Lego blocks of like this, then now they have like a closed container, okay? So, and their little blocks are 2 by 2 by 2, and they're going to go to a 1 by 1 by 1 in feet, okay, pretty soon. So when they reach this stuff, okay, they're very near to what we're talking about. Okay? Not complete, but in the right direction. Then the logic here is let's adapt our trucks, our conveyors, our stores, our transporters, so that we know that we're moving things that are being containerized. And also we're going to have like hubs, okay, that are going to be done fast. Okay, so it's a mess, okay, getting out of a train. Well, and into a truck. In our example here of a road rail transshipment hub, Eric Ballot and I designed this a few years back, okay, where basically we don't unhook the rail car from the train, okay? It just stops, and within half an hour to 1 hour, the full train is unloaded, the containers are in the trucks, they're gone, and the new ones that come in are already reloaded on the train, and the train departs, okay? Not a 2 miles long train, but the logic is very simple. So it's very, very efficient. And the one on the bottom, you see a road-based cross-dock hub, okay? A truck gets in, 1 minute to back up there, 1 minute to offload the containers, another minute to load them, and then 1 minute to get out. 4 or 5 minutes, the truck is out. Okay? So that and the containers themselves may be half an hour, 1 hour, or depending on the flow. The first big study that we did with this kind of level of sophistication was done in France, okay? A partnership between Switzerland, France, and Canada, where we work with Carrefour and Casino and their top 100 suppliers. And basically, we had plenty of data, so we looked at their current flows, which is like the spaghetti web, okay, that you see on the left, on your left side, okay, there. And what we did is basically say, okay, where in France do I want to put like hubs that are going to be for trucks, and which rails can I use, and we're creating bimodal type of hubs. And so that's what we did here, and we used the same roads and rails okay, as they were. We got out of this modeling the same thing, comparing bananas with bananas, okay? There, economically, we save up to 32% overall cost, 60% reduction in greenhouse gas emission, and socially, we got all the truckers back home, and we got the same level of service, and we have the options where we would do even better than them. That has shocked them. At the beginning, Carrefour and Casino did not want us to name them, okay? Well, you see their name now, okay, because they got that, listen, this is something, okay? So basically, what we're trying to do is, right now the world is with 3 types of movements: point-to-point, vehicle routing, okay, and hub and spoke. Okay? Each one of them has big issues associated with this. What we would transform that into multi-tier mesh networks with much more flexibility, agility embedded into it, and much more resilience natural into it. So you see the picture in blue, and then the picture that has multi-tiers, okay, red, green, and dark blue. And basically, that's the style of thing that I'm going to show afterward. The logic is if you go near, you keep at the very local type of network, okay? And if you go farther, then you climb and go to a regional hub. And if you want to cross the continent, then you're going to go to the interregional and national type of hubs as you proceed. And then when you reach near your destination, you can go back. So this is a little animation, okay, show you we have the source destination, there's hubs around, etc. And then dynamically we have protocols, okay, that are basically looking dynamically where's the capacity, where's the loading, etc. And it adjusts, okay, where each of the container is going to go, in which truck it's going to be, etc. So as we're proceeding. This kind of logic and everything around, this is a case that we did with one of the major parcel delivery company, and look at the number, applying the kind of things I've just told about. Service, because people say when there are going to be many players, it's going to be disastrous. We have near zero delivery lateness in all the simulations that have been done, reducing operating costs hugely, operations much simpler, much greener. So we got, again, the truckers back home, most of them, and we got faster options, like the stuff that they used to go air, now some of it they can do ground, and even the stuff that they used to do with the ground, now they can do with the train and offer the same type of service to their clients. Now we're working, this is industrial engineering, okay, so at grand scale. So basically there's stuff we look local, but we have the nodes, so we need to think, okay, the kinds of hubs we're gonna do this and design them. This is an example of a logistics hub for parcels that does not need cutoff times. Anybody who's played in this a little bit understand that I'm almost doing IISE here, okay? So, because normally there's big time where everything should be in, and they're gonna be out by that time, everything. We just got rid of this, okay? And everything is like with mobile robots and smartly designed, okay? But just to enable this fast service that we want. Now let's add the deploy into it, okay, the deployment. So this is best explained with a simple case. I've got two manufacturers that are serving two retailers that have distribution centers, then stores, okay, or fulfillment centers to deal. Normally they do, okay, which is like the one in the middle, okay, the first map, okay, everything is direct ship, okay, from one to another. Then what I've shown earlier, okay, was that, no, I'm going to have two hubs now, so we're going to cross and consolidate at the hubs. So that's the map in the middle between the two others. Now what we're adding is that, why did I need to have my own deployment centers? Why can't I use like we do with cloud storage? Go at the cloud and go where it's needed, and so you just move and optimize dynamically where you want to be. So that's basically what we show on the right side of it, and we get gains, okay, that are extremely good, okay, much better than just doing the move, because we're combining with deployment. In practice, okay, there are various ways to do this, okay? One would be like ES3 is doing, okay? Sorry about this. Okay, so like ES3 Americal, okay, they have big networks of facilities, okay, that they can rent, but they try to have big contracts, 5 years, etc. And now they're trying to get better at it and have shorter. Then you have the flex.com type of model, Airbnb. So sometimes you need your full warehouse, they're full, but essentially other times they're more empty. So basically you just put them like you do Airbnb, say I've got warehouse space available, and so you just play. Sometimes you want to rent your space, and sometimes you want to get access. That's the other one. And then the third one is like Amazon is doing, which is basically developing a fulfillment network and telling to the people, let's go for it. Do you know that in a fulfillment center by Amazon, they can literally be on the order of half the products that are not sold by Amazon? So they are doing a lot of the stuff I'm talking about here, okay? Not complete yet, okay? And they're charging significantly because they're kind of dominant right now, but the logic is very important, okay? So what we're showing here is depending on how I optimize my inventory, my deployment of my products, etc., what I can do. So on the orange side, okay, this is real data. We've masked everything and changed the numbers so that there's no danger, okay, for people we work with. But it's the kind of picture that we get, okay, and those are serious people, very serious people in there. But you see that they deliver in 4, 5, 6 days. That's not their target, okay, and they know that when they go there, they're losing clients, okay. So what we're showing is that if you change and make it much more dynamic and interconnect very nicely, okay, with the same facilities, we can get you, okay, in the green zone much more than was there. So this is real size, okay, thousands and thousands of products, okay, in there, but showing the impact of what I'm talking about in real size, okay. And what I got there as numbers, okay, basically, this is just the beginning, because essentially, because I said you keep your number of facilities, you just keep exactly the same thing. You don't go with others. We have fixed assortment. They got a bunch of internal constraints. If we break that, okay, in the concepts of physical internet, then we get even more. Those results I cannot show here, okay, but it's much better results. Okay. Now let's look at the full type of supply chain here. So now I'm going to add manufacturing to it and so on. But I'm going to take a case. I'm not going to go as detailed, but just show you the kind of logic. We have a nice partner in Quebec. Okay, it's a SME in the furniture domain, okay, and those guys are really good. Okay? And they've been selling for a long time, okay, to the Amazons, the Wayfairs, and the Walmarts of this world, okay, battling with everybody in this game. So we have all their data before COVID, through COVID, after COVID, everything, okay, in there. And so we're modeling this in our research works, okay, very closely. We've got digital twins equivalent of this, simulating things very fine. And we've got networks of agents taking decisions. And what we did is we know the misery they went through while in COVID. They lost a bunch of sales, okay? They had to cut a lot of their products, etc. And their factories were shut down, etc. So now we say, okay, if we give ourselves more degrees of freedom, if we think differently, what would be happening? So first, okay, give more intelligence into the system, and then give us more options. And what happens in the upper part of the graph, what you see with the 3 options, is that as I get better and give myself more options, we're losing less and less sales, okay, in the midst of COVID. Remember furniture, there was a big peak, okay, and then there was going down. Peak because everybody was at home, wanted to change their nest, okay. Now in the lower left, okay, what you see at different colors is essentially the kind of service they would have, okay, from their assigned fulfillment centers, the one where it's supposed to be. But through COVID, again, all the misery that was happening, what you see on the other side is really what happened. So basically, everything got screwed, okay? So basically what we show is that if we have other slides, is that we're able, by giving more freedom into it and be smarter, to get away from a lot of the trouble that are there and losing much less sale and navigate the disruptions in a much more resilient way to do this. So I won't go through all the numbers, okay, but you see, for example, here, this is the current fulfillment center network. They're small, so they have 3 in the US, okay, and you see where they can offer very fast delivery, but the rest is not good. And then as I'm adding FCs, that would be not theirs, okay, but just getting space in this and getting their services, then you see that now they're passing, and a lot of what they do, okay, can be same day, next day, okay, at not much higher price to make this happen. Now, sorry. So I want to push it even further, okay? For the last 3 years, we've been working with a company, okay, called MyTech. MyTech is a Warren Buffett company, by the way, okay? And they're the ones where if you have houses and it has roofs, okay, there are trusses, they control that market, okay, very good, and they know their business. And now they've decided that they're going to go into the distributed construction domain, which means that you've got like affordable housing. Instead of building on site, we're going to build, okay, in factories and then ship to the sites to assemble there. So the idea is that many companies have tried to do this, and they go bankrupt, okay? Because mostly it's normal type of waste. So we work with them at thinking the overall strategy, the way they're dealing with it from a physical internet perspective. So now the factories are very adaptable, okay? Very easy to move around, okay? We know that if I'm going to deal with hospitality or affordable housing, sometimes I got a lot of demand, sometimes less. The equipment, okay, itself, the manufacturing equipment is put on containers that I can reshift, okay, as I want. All the materials that we receive, okay, are kitted and put into container so that we can move this and make it very, very efficient, okay? So we've been working with this, and they're going to market, and they have really, really good clients. If this works, okay, this is a revolution in the industry, okay? So you've got many, many towns where they need 60,000, 100,000 affordable housing units, and there's no way to make it happen. This is all across the world, this kind of stuff. So this is applying the kind of principle, but now it's kind of transforming an industry. So we have like about 10 PhD students working on this for the last 3 years, many colleagues, okay, and working very intensely with the company, but we're attacking all the facets of the overall. I'm going to have to finish there, but it's all the same kind of concept I've done, but now addressing a new context and being much more aggressive. I want to finish rapidly with 3 slides, okay? Many of you will believe, okay, that Georgia Tech, there's nice labs there, and this, the dream, okay, and there. Well, the physical internet has gone way beyond me, okay, right now, way orders of magnitude beyond me. In Europe, it is now the strategic vision, okay, for the future of supply chain and logistics. And they basically have a roadmap with hundreds of companies, okay, that are behind and supporting that. The government is implied. And they have this roadmap as to how they're going to get mature implementing physical internet at grand scale. And look, it's looking at the logistics nodes, the networks, the systems of logistics of the access adoption, the governance, and then they have every 5 years what they want to achieve, etc. to get there. So that's Europe, okay? Now, 2 years ago, okay, Japan bored in, okay? The government, the industry, etc. Now, and we translated, I think Jiaxian is there, we translated from Japanese, okay, what they're doing there. But they have their own roadmap now, okay? Prepare, take off, accelerate, completion. By 2040, they want to be fully physical internet all across of Japan, okay? And guess what, okay? A little player called China, okay? They're not as advanced yet, okay? But now they have like the Chinese Physical Internet Alliance. They have got plenty of companies getting there, and they're driven, okay? And they want to get in there. So this is way beyond me, okay? Those guys, okay, go, okay, and so on. So that's much better. What I believe, okay, and I'm going to finish with this, okay? I want to get you to call for action. My belief is industrial and systems engineering, if we want this profession to survive and thrive, okay, must go and shoot and be active on the big challenges in the world. May not be this one for you, but for some of you that may be. So we have to be players in these challenges, okay? So the notion of the challenge to make sure that we're getting all this fulfillment, all this distribution, that stuff to the places that it's done well, okay, is important. And at the same time, we've got this kind of solution that is IE taught, okay? I'm IE, bachelor, master, PhD, IE. This is IE solution, okay, there, so that we can this. And then basically this gives a big opportunity for the community to expand its wings, okay, and shine as innovative systemic transformers and integrators, okay, transdisciplinary change leaders, etc. Help working this. So shaping the next generation industrial systems, and ecosystems, and eventually overall making the world a better place together, one bold step at a time. So if I get you excited a little bit, if I told you that there's path forwards and we don't need to repeat everything we've been doing for the last 100 years, okay, that we can do better and leverage everything that's happening in the world, I'll be very happy. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you. OK. Bon, parfait. Est-ce qu'on peut prendre quelques questions? Are there any questions? They have 2 mics, okay, that they told me that they're going to share around. I think I went overboard by 5 minutes, but there's still like 10, 15 minutes. Anybody? No? Yeah. Okay. Can you take the... well, I know you speak loud, but... yeah, he's coming.
Hey, Ben, I enjoyed that as usual. What do you attribute the difference between the different adoption rates in Europe, Japan, China versus US, Canada, Mexico?
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, I'm being asked all the time. But through last decade and a half, okay, I've learned, okay, the European like to plan and strategize, okay? And they understand that if you want to do something big, you need to put the firepower in this and then get a government, etc. They made some very, very smart move, okay? They put together the Alliance for Logistic Innovation through collaboration in Europe. It's financed pretty heavily by the European Union, and then the companies have a cheap way to get in there, and they created a lot of momentum, and there was like literally hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, that were put in grants, and the companies could get access to this to do projects that will help thrive toward physical internet. So that has driven a lot of momentum. Okay, so that's the European way, and they were really good. Okay, so I applaud them. Okay, they played very nicely. They're the ones who came up with the roadmap. They took all the concepts that were there, but they just put it nicely. They had big meetings and got it. That's typical European. So that works nice. So that side they've got nice, but then application, getting it off the ground, that's much tougher for them. Okay, then you go into Asia. Asia is kind of there are kind of 2 sides. Okay, you've got the go entrepreneurs. Okay, that would like to do this. The guys behind JD.com, Alibaba, and so on. They're driven like hell. Okay, so and there's nothing to stop them except the government. Okay, and that's basically what happens now, is that they wanted to move fast, they've been slowed down, but now they're creating momentum again, so there's been slack on there. Japan, okay, is an interesting one, because, you know, Japan was the king of manufacturing. It's everything we talk about, lean manufacturing. It's a copycat and improve of the Toyota production system and all that. When they decide that they go for something, they're correct. They were a late comer in the game, okay? We taught with nobody, okay, from Japan. And then one came to my lab, and one came to Eric Ballot's lab in Paris, and began to talk. And then suddenly, okay, it went there. They got a book, okay, so it was bestseller, okay, in Japan, etc. And now they've got the government in there, etc. They're moving very seriously, okay, huge number of committees and so on. So, but they're driven. They like this kind of thing. Now, if we come to U.S. and to some degree Canada. The government, okay, for many, many decades did not have any industrial policy. Okay? An industrial strategy was almost like vade retro satanas. Okay, so you don't want that. Okay, so and it's essentially a world of entrepreneurship, etc. So what's happening in the U.S. is you don't see what's happening, okay? But there's a lot happening. Okay? If you go to the big players right now, they implement a lot of the concept of physical internet. Okay. But they are our students by the bunch, okay? They know what it is, we're talking with them, etc. But they're not putting this publicly, they don't go. They start by doing intranets, okay? So intranets within their big things, but they're developing the ways to do this. So, and then you've got companies everywhere. So even in Europe, you've got entrepreneurs, etc. So there's a new generation that push it. And in America, if it's going to come, it's going to be big part associated with this. But also there's opening. It did not happen, but now everybody in America, okay, in the real America, Canada, US, and Mexico, and everywhere, all the way down south, okay, knows what supply chain is about, okay, which was not the case prior to COVID. Okay? Almost nobody knew what supply chain was about. Now, all the way, the first big act that Biden did was basically a supply chain act. Okay? So that has big impact. So if But the key is to get to the right connections, okay? And that has not really happened yet at full scale, okay, on that level, but there's opportunity, and I hope that there are people that are gonna make it happen. Canada, it's a question of small size, not in geographical size, but in population and capability, etc. So starting something on their own completely is perceived by people in government as something that's going to be too tough for them. So they wait and see for now. But I think the industrial people, okay, they're smart and they know they've got issues, okay, and they could work and do something much better. So I don't know what will happen there. So Russ, did I make a tour that's reasonable? Okay. But overall, honestly, okay, I told that my goal was that when I would retire, I would begin to see solid physical internet, okay? I'm not yet retired, and I begin to see very interesting stuff, okay? And I said, before I die, if it can be like solid in there, I think that'd be nice. So my expectations were not grandiose in time, okay? But it more getting the ball rolling and so on. So, yeah, so don't think it's nothing moving here, okay? It's moving, but it's moving from the company's side right now. Yes? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I will translate. Okay, this is really good. Okay, he's talking about the energy transition. I've not put emphasis here, okay, because I would have needed twice as much time. We're talking about this very, very much. Okay, so we have a system it's all diesel right now. Okay, for the freight, everything. So it's all diesel. So and you go to a station, a pilot, a Flying J, Exxon, whatever. That's where the game is played. Okay, so the logic now is, can we do something different? Now, if we have to change the full charging infrastructure, okay, and I know that I want to make sure that I do consolidation much better, I'll have hubs. If I've got hubs, every truck will go there. So when they are being used, can I do charging of the batteries or swapping them? Okay? So we're making all kinds of studies, okay, looking the kinds of networks operation we have, but now thinking about charging, swapping, hydrogen fuel cells, etc. See if there's potential. And this is a field that's evolving very fast, okay? But the combination is hugely fun, okay? And let me push it even further, okay? Autonomous vehicles. Okay? What is the easiest? Easiest is like on the highway, no stop, whatever, at night and so on, and go from one hub to another, and that's it, okay? So again, all these transition, you remember my first plot, okay, one of my first slides, okay? Yeah, energy is a big deal there, and autonomy is not a big deal, okay? And there's gonna be big leverage, okay, there. So if we're gonna change the infrastructure, let's do it smart. Okay, good.
I have a question here. Here.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. Okay. I think everybody agree that the COVID-19 exposed how vulnerable the global supply chain is,
Yeah.
right? Especially the lockdown in my home country. So I guess my question is this: so I'm teaching supply chain management, and I noticed that the U.S. government is actually put forward reshoring or nearshoring initiative. So do you see that the supply chain will become less global? And because the tension between China and U.S., do you still see that China and the U.S. will still be the biggest players in the global supply chain?
Those are marvelous questions, okay, and they're very important questions. There's a small country just besides China that's called Taiwan, okay? And Taiwan and another small country that's called Korea, okay? There, you've got some of the biggest, most important semiconductor fabs on the planet, the most sophisticated. Okay? Every day now in Taiwan, you've got the planes from China above. The ships are all around Taiwan all the time. If you're the rest of the world and you've lived the shortage of chips, okay, that threw the entire auto industry on its knees, okay, Do you think that those people like seeing this? Because this is huge, okay? If I push it, okay, let's push it, okay, and it's open, but anybody who's got any common sense understand that what I'm telling makes sense. It could happen, okay? Well, how many bombs do they have to drop to shut down the complete industry? Whomever's doing this, okay? It's sad. We have it so concentrated, okay, that it's dangerous, okay? So having interconnected, but much more smartly done so that we avoid the problems to be there. If I'd be Taiwanese right now, for example, in that industry, I would not dream of having all my factories in Taiwan all the time, okay? So because I think this is not gonna happen, okay? It'd be very surprised. But there's a lot of potential. Now, the reshoring, okay, the versus the offshoring, the nearshoring, and the friendly shoring, and all those options, they're part of the game, okay? So we're looking at them, but looking at them when it's badly interconnected, like almost like now, okay? And then we say, okay, what if we have like a PI type of thinking in the back? So I think we can mediate, okay, some of the issues, but the politics and the hostilities are what they are. I'm not able to read the future, but I'm telling you, given that I cannot do this, if I have to advise people, I'd say we have to find ways to protect humanity overall. We're at that stage, okay? We're kind of little kids with bazookas in their hands, okay? So the potential for disaster around the world is so huge, we have to be very careful. So that's why I'm advocating a lot to make sure that our supply chains will not be relocalized all of it, because there are many things that's impossible, okay? Or it would be hugely costly. But trying to make sure that every time we work, again, be smart at thinking how we can make it happen. We're not going to destroy, but at the same time, we can make sure that we're going to be less fragile, okay? There. And right now, we are fragile. Overall, the supply chains across the world are too fragile. I did not answer all your questions, but I tried my best. Okay,
we have one more real fast.
Sure.
I'm going to try and make this simple in order to respect everyone's time here. A lot of us, we have these big ideas and we want to implement these sorts of large concepts. Funny enough, you mentioned the Internet of Things. That's something that when I was an intern many years ago, my project lead had talked about, saying this is going to be the future of a lot of our industry in dealing with supply chain. I think I can speak for a good majority of people in the room that we love these concepts, we love these ideas, but it can be really tough to get those who have the power to drive those decisions to catch and accept those visions. What would be your advice on helping people to see the bigger picture and see the value of implementing these systems?
Okay, that's a very good statement, and I'm agreeing with you at 90-some%, okay? So what I'm telling most of it is, first, okay, I'm not a preacher. I'm a scientist here that tries to help moving forward, okay? So make your classes, read on it, examine yourself, okay, with the stuff, and see what you're going to find. And at one point, either you're going to say this is bullshit, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or you're going to say it makes sense. But whatever, if it's bullshit, then essentially come up with something else, okay, because we have issues. So the idea is that we need to understand whether there's really an issue, okay, there's danger and threat, and then second, is the kinds of solution pathway, okay, making sense? Is the vision solid? Now, people think that I believe that we're going to snap and we're going to be in a full mature PI. I never ever in my wildest dream think this, okay? What I want though is that people, if I can plant one seed in your mind, is the following, okay? Every single one of you here, every single one, could, based on what I've said here, okay, implement something that within a few months would be working. Okay? Would not be dramatic, huge. Some of you may much bigger, but there are things that are very easy to do. Truly easy. So try to distinguish what is so big and versus what's not big and what's easily achievable. One thing that I've taken as a strategy, I really did the strategy on this, okay? Because there's, you know that Hyperloop exists, okay? So Hyperloop is easy. It's kind of, you put a tube, okay, and it goes so fast, man, it's all the way over there, okay? So think the kind of concepts that I've shown here, and I can say it's easy. Between the hubs, okay, I'm just going to put Hyperloops in there. So when I'm telling this, I'm making, it's fun, okay? But at the price this stuff is and the cost of it, okay, it's going to take 30, 40 years before the first ones will be put to work solidly, okay? So that's why I'm using words and I'm showing you trucks and I'm showing you things that are feasible, okay? So understand that we don't need to be majestic, to be perfect to start. We just need to think in terms of roadmaps, okay? What is the first step? It's like when people play games on video, you got world 1, okay, level 1, level 2, what do I need? Everybody that is in entrepreneurship, okay, lean startups, etc., minimum viable product, minimum viable experience. What is it in your domain? In the neck where you can control and influence, and see what you can get there. And get something, okay, and test and explore, okay, and we learn and we go and say, whoop, it didn't work, but this could work. And then we can grow, and then trust gets in, and there's funds that gets in because we've got successes. So all this, so it keeps rolling like that, okay, in there. So to me, the big deal is to be away from the thinking that we just need to have the big ones coming up with billions of dollars. If they don't come with billions, we're not going to do it, anything, okay? We need to drop it out of the picture. If they do it, that's fine, okay? But it can be done. I had like companies, let me use a French-Canadian, okay, let's say a Quebec type of example. We have a lot of furniture companies in Quebec, okay? Well, at one point, just prior to COVID, I had a bunch of them in a meeting, okay? And the point was the following. Every single one of them wants to sell in the US and wants to offer good service to all of the US. None of them is big enough. They're not able to do it. But when I put all the numbers together, I showed them that they can get trucks to every single region of the US every day. The only thing they have to do is bring their furniture to a hub and then play the game. It's a bit more complex than what I'm telling, but the concept is there. And then every single day, those people, they don't need billions of dollars to make it happen. They just need to trust that this can work, trust enough to do a pilot, test it, and when they prove, they'll find out what are the roadblocks and so on and work from there. So this is an example that's very pragmatic, okay, and that doesn't require anybody above and make it happen. Okay? Then I've got tons of other examples we could do much deeper, but now if I can keep on going, you're not going to eat. So I thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.